Honor has a new globally released high-end phone. I'm talking about the Honor 400 Pro. So, can it compete against other premium phones? I'm Will for GSM Arena, and let's find out in our Honor 400 Pro review. While its predecessor wasn't released globally, the Honor 400 Pro is here with full support for Google Apps and Services and 5G connectivity, unlike its Huawei cousins. On top of that, this phone has a lot to offer, including a durable design, a powerful chipset, versatile cameras, and AI features. The Honor 400 Pro has a glass back with a frosted finish, and an interesting looking camera bump with a trapezoid shape. This is a slightly curved design. Both the back and front taper a bit into a thick plastic frame. The phone feels solid and grippy enough in hand. Honor has souped up the ingress protection this time around. The 400 Pro is IP68 rated against dust and water submersion, and even has an IP69 rating against heated water jets. The display of the phone is a 6.7-inch OLED with a high resolution, a 120Hz refresh rate, and a slight curve along the edge. Similar to an iPhone, there's a pill-shaped cutout at the top for the selfie cam and a depth sensor. There's even a dynamic island-like functionality here, where the area around the cutout can display things like timers and shortcuts to multimedia. Overall, this panel performs great. It's sharp with a pixel density of 460 ppi, and there's support for 10-bit color depth and HDR10 video playback. The brightness is good here too. While we measure only around 600 nits maximum with a manual slider, this can boost to nearly 1500 nits in auto mode when needed, on par with other high-end phones. The 120Hz refresh rate smooths out your swiping and scrolling, though it isn't as adaptive as what we've seen on other phones. It didn't dial down when idling on the home screen, but at least it does dial down to 90Hz when going into YouTube for video playback. The Honor 400 Pro has a pair of stereo speakers, and they scored a mark of very good on our loudness charts. The sound quality features well-presented highs and alright vocals, but the bass is minimal. You can listen for yourself with a comparison tool linked below. You can wake up and unlock the phone with an optical fingerprint scanner, and it works great. And the Honor 400 Pro has an IR blaster, so you can use the phone to remotely control appliances with. And the phone can come with 256 or 512 gigs of storage on board. That isn't expandable through microSD card. The software interface of the 400 Pro is Honor's Magic OS 9 on top of Android 15. It brings plenty of customizations over stock Android. Like I mentioned earlier, with Honor phones you get the full Google Apps suite, Play Store, and Google services, unlike devices from the ex-sister company Huawei. That's always worth repeating as people still tend to confuse this aspect of their phones. Large folders used to be more of a novelty, but Honor has now added the ability to resize them. And something unique is the Magic Portal functionality, Honor's system-wide copy-paste solution. If you long press on something like an image, a bar appears on the side with pre-selected apps and actions. These include searching, adding to an email, or putting down a note about the highlighted item. You can extract text from images too. Honor has also made cross-device sharing easier with the Honor Share app. If it's installed on another device, you can airdrop files between them easily. Now let's get into AI-based features. Google Gemini comes baked in with all of the extensive functionality that it can provide. On the Honor 400 Pro, you can do live translation and transcription of audio into text. The phone can even listen to a call and translate into text in real time. Another super cool feature you'll find here is photo to video. It's driven by Google's VO2 video generation model. It allows you to take any still photo and turn it into a 5-second video. The results can be hit or miss, but sometimes they're really impressive. There are also plenty of AI editing tools available within the gallery. And for support, Honor has promised 6 years of updates for the 400 Pro, but they're not very specific about whether that actually means 6 major Android updates. The chipset of the Honor 400 Pro is a Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. It's not a cutting edge anymore, being the top Qualcomm chip from 2024, but still it's one of the best chipsets on the market. In benchmarks, the Honor 400 Pro earns great scores, only being bested by this year's flagship phones with more current hardware. There's plenty of power here for heavy gaming and multitasking, and a fast and snappy experience overall. The thermal management isn't terrible. During our prolonged stress tests, the phone throttled to 62% of max CPU performance, which is quite alright for a high-powered chipset. The Honor 400 Pro has a 5300 mAh battery, and the battery life is good here. In our testing, the phone earned an active use score of 13 hours and 54 minutes, with solid scores across the board. The Honor 400 Pro supports 100-watt wired charging, and there's no charger in the box. However, Honor is giving away a free 100-watt adapter with the phone via its official web stores. When using such a charger, the Honor 400 Pro was able to go from 0 to 53% in 15 minutes, and a full charge took 38 minutes. Quite speedy. There's also support for 50-watt wireless charging, plus reverse wireless charging, and reverse wired charging too. The Honor 400 Pro has a triple camera setup on the back, which includes a main cam with a 200-megapixel sensor, a 3x telephoto zoom, and an ultrawide with autofocus. Daylight photos from the main cam are good. They're sharp and detailed, with saturated, punchy colors. We're not huge fans of the HDR processing here. It looks like the dynamic range is a bit limited, with highlights coming out too bright, or even clipped. 2x digital zoom is a bit inconsistent. When the shots come out well, they're close to the regular 1x photos in terms of quality, but they can also come out soft and out of focus. In low light, the main cam's photos come out good. They're detailed and impressively clean, with punchy colors and added sharpening. Light sources are well contained. We're not fans of the shadows, which have a brightened, unnatural look, but this isn't uncommon with smartphone camera processing. The telephoto cam's 3x zoom photos are nice, with very good sharpness and detail. The colors, contrast, and exposure match those of the main camera. Highlights are again on the edge though, and the rendition of foliage and grass could be better. There's also a 4x zoom toggle on the viewfinder. It's a digital crop from the telephoto cam's output. The results are surprisingly good, with hardly any loss in sharpness or detail. In low light, the telephoto cam's 3x zoom shots look great. They're clean, sharp, and detailed. The processing is pretty comparable to the main cameras. The ultrawide camera's processing is a little different. It retains the vibrant look, but the highlights seem more balanced, and the contrast is slightly higher. We're also happy with the overall quality. Sharpness and detail are flagship grade for this sort of camera. And since the ultrawide has autofocus, it can take macro close-ups, and they come out quite nice. At night, the ultrawide photos have plenty of detail and wide dynamic range. There's a ton of artificial sharpening added, but still these shots are not very sharp. The quality is good for this sort of camera though. Selfies come from the 50-megapixel front-facing camera, and they're solid, with plenty of detail, good dynamic range, and lively colors. But in difficult scenes, the camera struggles to get the right exposure. We also wish there was autofocus on this camera. The Honor 400 Pro can record 4K videos in up to 60 FPS with the main and zoom cameras, while the ultrawide and selfie cameras can record in 30 FPS. The main camera's videos have vivid colors, nice contrast, plenty of detail, and crisp rendition. Dynamic range is good too. The telephoto camera's videos aren't as sharp, but have a near identical rendition when it comes to colors, contrast, and exposure. The results are quite good for the class. The ultrawide camera's footage is softer still, but there's good color saturation and contrast, and plenty of detail. Video stabilization works great. There's no jitter or distortion, just smooth video recording in 4K. And at night, videos from the main cam have some great colors, while detail and sharpness are more than decent. So there you have it, the Honor 400 Pro. It's a great phone all around, with a bunch of high-end features and flagship-grade cameras. Our only nitpicks are that this phone has a plastic frame, and the chipset is from last year. And if the performance is important to you, you can find phones with this year's chipset for the same price. Other than that, the Honor 400 Pro is a high-end camera phone that's worth checking out. Thanks for watching, guys. If you're looking for alternatives on our channel, you can check out our reviews of the Poco F7 Ultra and the Samsung Galaxy S25 Plus. Let us know what you think, and I'll see you on the next one.